I don't want to believe anything that's a limitation. The universe loves when you take action from the new belief. So when you believe a new belief and you take action from the new belief, you move it into the body, you are solidifying it. That's what embodiment is. Money is going to be spent anyway, you guys. You all have bills to pay. You all have taxes to pay. But if you are paying your bills, paying your taxes, in the energy of, I don't want to do this right now, you are not in a state of gratitude, you're not in the feeling of having, and the vibration, the energy that you're in is not going to call back on more. The law of compensation says that you will be compensated greatly if you have these three things. Number one, the need for what you do is a big need. The second thing is that you're really good at what you do. So if you're really good at it, like it is your zone of genius, you will make more money at it. And then the third thing is you cannot be replaced. Nobody else can do it the way you do it. 5 years ago when I started in this work, it was like I would speak in front of people and they would just be like this. Like, what on earth is this woman talking about? It's like gibberish. Like they would either think I was an absolute lunatic or they would be like, hearing it for the first time, being like, this feels so good. Why? Like, oh my gosh, everything she's saying is just, I don't know why, but I love it. And I'm like, yes, because truth is operating in you. And when truth is operating in you, it feels really good. So that means when truth isn't operating in you, it doesn't feel good. It feels like stress. It feels like worry. It feels like doubt. Feels like fear, right? So just a reminder that the truth always feels good. Truth always feels good. My prayers are thank yous always. My prayers will never be a please God, can you do this? Okay, why is that? Why will I not ask? Okay, so in manifestation, in the manifestation world, creation is already finished. Everything is already done. You already are everything you need to be. So when you are saying thank you, you are in the vibration and the energy of, I know it is delivered. I know it is done, right? It comes from a belief. So when you ask a question, there's a potential that you don't know the answer, that the answer might be a maybe. It's never a maybe. I want you to believe it's never a maybe. The world with which we are creating right now in our minds, our thoughts, the ideas that we're creating, the most abundant and prosperous yous, that's the real you. That's the truth. You've been living in a delusional state. The delusional state says you're in lack and limitation, you're in fear, you're in worry, you're not good enough, you're not worthy, you don't know enough. Matters what people think. That's the delusion you're living in. The truth of who you are is in the imagination, is in the fourth dimension. That's the truth. That's why it feels good. When we go and we do a visualization and you're abundant and prosperous and free and loving and caring and life is so good, that's the truth. That's the real you. That's why it feels so good. Remember what I said? Truth feels good. I was reading an oracle card the other day and I had such a beautiful awareness because I don't know who wrote this card, but they're tapped in, man. They basically called that world, the imagination, the fourth dimension, they called it the manifested world. It was so subtle. It was like small little words on an oracle card. It wasn't big. It wasn't exaggerated. It just said, when you tap in to everything available in the manifested world, you will change your 3D physical reality. And I went, oh, manifested world, that's it. That's it. The world in our imagination is the manifested world. So if you believe that to your core, 100%, then you remain in fidelity to the assumption of the wish fulfilled. You will never question, you will never doubt. If you 100% know that, and so I want you all to know without a shadow of a doubt to your core that the reality that you're imagining is truth and you will one day observe it, not one day live it. I don't want you to think that you're not living it. You are. You have just been convinced that you're not, but you actually are. So I hope you're following me. This is a deeper level conversation, but this is the art of manifestation. So the manifested world is the real world. And the manifested world is not what you observe. It is who you really are. I want to talk about the feeling of having and why that is so important. I want to talk about identity and the identity of empowerment. A really, really empowered identity will generate more wealth for you. The feeling of having. So abundance can be specifically talked about when it comes to money, but it doesn't have to be. Abundance can actually mean anything. Abundance of time, abundance of energy, abundance of trees, of leaves, of people, whatever, whatever, whatever. But when I talk about the feeling of having, I'm specifically talking about money. The feeling of having money. It is a feeling. And I also want to make sure that we understand that it has nothing to do with how much money. Okay? The feeling of having money is a feeling within us, and it does not matter how much. It can be $1, it can be $1,000, it can be $100,000, and it can be $1 million. Okay? So the problem is that we say that $1 isn't enough money, or it's too little of money, or it's not money even. And so then what we do is we get rid of the feeling of having, and then we go to the feeling of not having. Okay? So I want every single one of you to understand that the feeling of having money creates more money in your life. The feeling of having money generates more money. So then what does that mean? The feeling of not having money, what does that generate? No money. No more money. Even if you are circulating money, you're spending money, but you're doing it in fear. You're doing it in regret. You're doing it in this like burdened feeling, or you're doing it in the feeling that you don't have it. You're still in the feeling of not having money. It will not come back. Does not matter how much you circulate. So if there's any money coaches out there that are like, all you got to do is spend money, all you got to do is circulate. No, don't do it. Don't be caught up. Because if you circulate money in a fear-based thought, you are sending out the energy of, I don't have enough. And so that money will not ricochet back. The money ricochets back when you're in the feeling of having money, whether you spend $100, $1, $100, $1,000. It does not matter. When you spend money in the feeling of having money, it ricochets back. Okay, so what does it feel like to have money? The feeling of having money, I want you to connect to it. Every single one of you has had a time in your life where you have spent money and you felt like you had it. It was easy. It was effortless. You didn't even think about it. You were just like, okay, yep. So it might be buying groceries. It might be getting a coffee in the morning. Can you connect to it? Can you connect to that feeling? Some of you, you might find this hard. You might realize that you're spending money and you're circulating money in feelings of not having, in lack and limitation. You don't want to spend it. You want to hold on to it. This is my electrolytes, but let's say it's water, okay? So the feeling of having water for me is, as this glass starts to get less and less and less and less and less, I do not have a thought that it's running out. I do not have a thought that there's not enough. I don't have a thought that maybe I should stop drinking this. Why? Because I know I can go and fill it right back up. So I drink my water in the feeling of having more water every single day. So the opposite then is, if I'm going to drink this water and I'm afraid that I can't fill it back up, what am I going to do? Oh, I better not have another sip. Oh, I'm thirsty, but you know what? I'm going to leave this till later. Okay, I'm going to save this for later. I'm going to go put it in the fridge and I'm going to save it for later because there might not be enough. I think about people like on a deserted island and how they're like sanctioning off the sips of water. Yeah, I love those kind of movies. But we don't want to do that with our money because we're pinching, we're cutting off the hose, right? So the feeling of having money generates more money. So I want you to think about that as you're spending your money. What is the feeling that you're in? Money is going to be spent anyway, you guys. You all have bills to pay. You all have taxes to pay. But if you are paying your bills, paying your taxes in the energy of, I don't want to do this right now, you are not in a state of gratitude. You're not in the feeling of having. And the vibration, the energy that you're in is not going to call back on more. So let's talk about electricity. This is such a good example because I used to think that my electricity bills were so annoying. They were like so annoying. Like, I do not want to be spending my money on my electricity bills. Like, this sucks. And then they would raise the prices and the bill would go back up again. And I would be like, oh my gosh, like, look at that bill. And I'd have like a certain amount of money in my account. And then the bill would be like 80% of that. And I'm feeling some kind of way about it. So I want to really, really consider this then. If I'm in that energy, that feeling, I don't want to pay my bill, I don't like how much it costs, I am in displeasure and I'm in lack and limitation about it. The woman I am today, I have no idea what my electricity bills cost. I have no clue. So what does that mean? I'm in the feeling of having. But I had to change the energy. And this was one of the things that I did around my electricity bills. So I started to realize that I was in this displeasure state, this feeling of lack and limitation, and not in this feeling of having related to my electricity. So I thought to myself, okay, what will happen if I choose not to pay this bill? My electricity will be cut off. I'll have no microwave. I'll have no lights. I won't be able to straighten my hair. I won't be able to listen to music. Like my cell phone's going to die because I wouldn't have a charger to be able to charge it and plug it back in. So paying this bill then is actually a choice. I'm choosing to pay for my electricity. And am I choosing to pay for it because I want my electricity? Yes, I do. I actually really do want it. It's probably one of the things that I would want the most. I would rather electricity probably than my car. Like, I would choose that. Like, it's something I would absolutely choose. So then I'm paying a bill by choice for something that I love and enjoy and I use every single day. So what did I immediately just do? I got rid of the displeasure. I got rid of the lack and limitation feeling. And I was like, wow, I'm so grateful that I have electricity. And wow, I'm so grateful that I get to pay this electricity bill right now. And doing that was one of the shifts. I had to do this with my taxes, you guys. Chris and I, we had a $700,000 cash tax bill in 2020. I manifested $3.3 million and I had to pay $700,000 in taxes. It was probably more than that. But I remember one tax bill came in, it was $700,000 and I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta pay that? And I went, whoa, 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 whoa. Kathleen, what are you thinking about this bill right now? What is it that's going on in your mind? What are you thinking? Stop. Is this the most abundant thought that you can have about this bill? Is this the energy of having? Is this the feeling of abundance and prosperity? Will this thought call in more money or will it constrict my flow? And I realized that it was going to be very constricting, very, very limiting. So I was like, you know what? I am so grateful to pay this bill. And you know what? The government is going to fix some roads and pay for some healthcare, and it's going to benefit other members of my community because I'm circulating. So look at me. I'm a great Samaritan. I started telling a story in my mind that made me feel good about it. And then I thought, okay, so if I'm choosing to live in Canada, which is a country where we pay a certain amount of tax, and I know that, I'm aware of that, then I'm also choosing to pay more taxes when I make more money, right? It's a choice that I made. So would I love to make more money? Yes. So what does that mean for my taxes? I would love to pay more taxes, essentially. So I don't want to kink the hose. So see how I'm just changing the feeling I'm having about the bills I'm already paying. So every time you spend it, you say thank you. That's the feeling of having money. And so I want you to, every time you circulate anything, to have the feeling of having. And when you find a penny on the ground, I want you to honor that penny. Oh my gosh, I just manifested money. Because when you're in that energy of abundance and prosperity, when you're in that energy of money is valuable, money is amazing, money is great, money's coming at me everywhere, that's how you call more on for you. Identity is one of the most important parts of manifestation. The reason why wealth came to me so quickly, so rapidly, so easily and effortlessly, I literally went from making $3,000 a month to $100,000 a month. Boom. And it stayed. It didn't go back down. Like I went from $3,000 a month to $55,000 a month to $100,000 a month. And it just kept going. And then within 18 months of being in business and 18 months of this work, I had my first $1 million month. So why did that happen so quickly, so fast, so easily? And I wasn't stressed out. Like I was loving life. In flow, in spirit. Why? Because of my identity. So I took every belief that I had that was limited in some way, a wrong or small thought, and I switched it. And somebody asked me on Instagram the other day, and I thought this was such a great question. They said, Kathleen, how long did it take you to reprogram your subconscious mind with this new identity? And I went, you know what? 30 days. And she was like, what? Only 30 days? And I was like, well, yeah, how long do you think it's going to take? She's like, a lot longer. I said, and is it taking you longer? She's like, yeah. I'm like, So I believe that belief shifting is easy. I believe that I can accept a new belief in an instant. But let me tell you one little thing that is going to shift it like this. You need 21 days to reprogram the subconscious mind. I call BS. Who says? According to who? I don't know. I'm just opening the mind up. What if it doesn't take 21 days? What if it takes 21 minutes, right? What if it's immediate? So it's just a belief in the subconscious mind. I'm not saying anyone is wrong. I'm not saying that there isn't truth to it or data to suggest it or whatever. What I'm saying is what you believe in your mind will create your reality. So I don't want to believe anything that's a limitation. So if I thought that reprogramming the subconscious mind took me 3 months, and then somebody says it's 21 days, and then I accept that belief, great. Yeah, you just went from 3 months to 21 days. I like it. But now I'm just getting you to go, well, what if 21 is even long? What if it can even be faster? What if it can be immediate? What if it can be right now? But one of the things that I have 100% learned over these past 5 years, the universe loves when you take action from the new belief. Because belief and action together in one praxis, embodiment, right? So when you believe a new belief and you take action from the new belief, you move it into the body, you are solidifying it. That's what embodiment is. But to embody it is different. To embody it is to absolutely live from that idea as if that idea is absolutely truth, right? So for me, it was like, okay, the new idea is that I'm a millionaire. In 2019, at the end of the year, I was like, okay, the new idea is I'm a millionaire. I'm no longer a nurse. I'm a millionaire. Okay, that's it. So what did I do? Quit my nursing career. December 31st, I got this notice. And to become a nurse, I mean, there's a lot. You got to write this whole exam, and then you have to be registered, get all your competencies. And so if you don't renew your license, your nursing license, if you want to nurse again, you got to go take that test again. And that's one of those tests you don't want to do again. It was like stressful. It was like an 8-hour day. You had to really study. It was a lot of work. Anyway, so in December, my license came up for renewal. And I went, okay. It was $126 to renew it. All I had to do was click on a link, pay with my credit card, and I would have renewed my nursing license. And I sat with it for a second. It would be really easy to renew it. It wasn't very expensive. And I went, millionaire Kathleen, though. Does she have a nursing license just in case? No, she absolutely does not. So I burned the boats. I did not renew my nursing license in 2019. I said, I'm never going back. That's it. I'm a millionaire now. Why would I renew my license? So fear says, renew your license. Doubt says, renew your license. The truth, the manifested world, the reality of who I am, millionaire Kathleen, she does not renew her license, right? So that's an embodiment practice. That's actually living as the new identity. So wealth then, why does identity matter when it comes to wealth, right? Because a lot of us have an identity that is attached to lack and limitation. Even me and my decision to become a nurse was a limited decision. Can you see that? It came from my identity. I grew up believing that we should become XYZ, and make this amount of money, and this is what's available to us, and blah, 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 blah. But my good friend Jason Derulo, he didn't think from there, did he? He wasn't going to go away to university and get a degree and become a physical therapist. He was like, no, I'm a world famous pop star. Moved to LA, started writing music, and look at where he is today. It's embodiment. He didn't even know what he was doing, but it's embodiment. And so I want each and every one of you to embody an elevated identity. Even when I think about me and the woman that I am today, I thought that I was worthy of making a small impact. You know, the 5 patients that I have in the hospital on my shift. Then I went into leadership and it was like, okay, I'm going to impact these 1,000 clients that all these nurses and stuff work with. But now I'm thinking from millions. And so I had to believe something different about me. I had to believe that I was worthy. I had to believe that I could do something like this, that I'm important enough to do something like this, right? And to realize that the bigger the impact that we make in this world, the more that we are connecting to our God essence. And so I had to let a lot of that ego go. The ego told me I was small. The ego told me I wasn't good enough. I wasn't worthy. So the ego isn't always inflating. The ego is minimizing. The ego will try to keep you small and safe. But the truth of you, the God essence within you, is expansion, fuller expression, growth. But we get so tied to that egoic mind that we listen to it and we let it keep us small. So we don't want to do that anymore. We want to think as big as we possibly can because that is the truth. So I really, really want you to have then this empowered identity that you walk in the embodiment of it. You practice embodiment. And so I want every single one of you to have this conviction. I convinced myself. And whatever you are convinced of will be your truth. If you're not convinced, it will not be your truth. So are you acting in the conviction that it is done, or are you acting in the conviction that it isn't done? So this is identity. So identity does generate more wealth. So the law of compensation says that you will be compensated greatly by these, if you have these three things. Number one, the need for what you do is a big need. So whatever your vessel is, whatever you sell, whatever service it is that you sell, whatever you do for a living, whatever your purpose, mission, and calling is, if it's really, really needed out in the world, you'll make more money. Okay, the second thing is that you're really good at what you do. So if you're really good at it, like it is your zone of genius, you will make more money at it. And then the third thing is you cannot be replaced. Nobody else can do it the way you do it. Okay? Those three things. Now, who decides those three things? Who says that what you do is the most needed? Who says you're really good at it? Who says you can't be replaced? You. Here's the real kicker, right? So the law of compensation isn't some outside body saying it. Nobody's questioning your worth. Nobody's judging you. Nobody's saying, oh yeah, she's really good at it. Nobody's saying, oh, she can be replaced today. Oh, what you do for a living? Oh, nobody cares. Nope, it's all you because you're in charge of your faucet. So when you believe that what you do is the most important work that there is on this earth, planet, universe, you will be compensated more. When you believe you are the best at it, not better than anyone. I do not believe I'm better than anyone. I believe I'm the best of who I am, right? So when you think you're really good at it, like this is my zone of genius, this is my passion, my purpose, my calling, this is what I'm born to do. It's my raison d'être, my reason for being. That's why I started saying that, because I want to believe this is my reason for being here. Because I know when I believe that this is my reason for being here, that the universe will compensate me based on that belief. These are identity things. These are all identity concepts, right? And then I can't be replaced. So if I think that I'm going to go away tomorrow and nobody's going to notice or care, that was the old me. I actually thought I would be better off gone, that I was a hassle, that I was annoying, that I wasn't, nobody would care, right? So now I've convinced myself of the opposite. I cannot be replaced. Can other people do what I do? Absolutely. But can anybody do it the way I do it? No, I cannot be replaced. So when you have those three beliefs, and they're the most powerful, empowered version, you will be compensated more. It is inevitable. And even if the thing that you do for a living to you right now doesn't feel all that important, I want you to really make it important. I want you to tell a story about why it's the most important work. Please believe that what you do is very important, the most important work. Please believe that you're the best one to do it. And please believe that you cannot be replaced. And you will increase your compensation.